Hey YouTube, this is Dr. Wanda. I want to give you an update on how Saturday's distribution of water turned out. Okay, so overall, we served up um, 35,000 gallons of water. Okay, because what ended up happening was I did get some decent donations and I was able to actually expand the project. So it turns out still waters run deep. And as a child, when I heard that phrase, I didn't quite understand what that means, but it means when that water is quiet and things are quiet, it's a lot going on underneath that surface. There's far more than what you can ever imagine. And so that's how this project has been. So I got very good donations and I extended the gift. So we were able to send water out to a community in Tennessee, and then we also were able to do Isaac's village of Lilonia, as well as Palm. So all three areas, north, south, and this area, um, have water issues, but for different reasons. So in Tamale, the issue is the dam has dried up, and so individuals are walking far, 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 far for water. Now, if you own a tank and you can afford to order water, then it's less challenge for you, okay? But if you don't own it, then you got to walk. And here's the thing, once you've done that long, arduous walk, you got to walk back and you got to walk back with that water, okay? In Lilonia, that's a salt harvesting village. So they can't drink the water because it's full of salt. So what they really need is a borehole and then and a reverse osmosis. They need to have the equipment that does reverse osmosis, meaning that it extracts the salt out the water so they can drink it. So they kind of have some, for those who don't have tanks, they go to some of the settled water like the lagoons and spaces like that. And they let the water sit and they try to fetch the water that floats atop. Now, of course, all this is what goes on if you cannot afford to buy water, if you don't own a tank. And even now, because the road to get to them is so rocky, it's so rough, some of the trucks don't want to come there. So that community hadn't seen water for a minute. Over here where I'm at in Pone, the issue is the piping. The piping is not flowing, hasn't flowed. I talked to one woman, the piping hasn't flowed for 6 or 7 years. Now, one issue I have with the Ghanaian people is that they are comfortable or they get into a place of complacency with suffering. One thing I love about black people, and people can say what they want to about us, we will raise some hell. We will march. We will cry. We will pray. We will set in. We will raise. We'll petition. We will raise some hell. We'll keep this topic on top of somebody's mind. Now, it's not always effective. In fact, I think we've been marching for 50 years and ain't went nowhere since the first march. Like we've gotten stuck in it. But I can at least say, we just don't settle. We just don't fold. We just don't quietly suffer. And I've come to really appreciate that. So still waters run very, very deep. Each community was absolutely excited and joyous. There was no shortage of anything except water. I could have had two, three more tanks, uh, and they still would have needed more because this does not solve. This only lifts. It alleviates mild pressure. Okay, but sometimes you need that just to make it through a day. But it doesn't solve. At some point, these communities have to fight their government in order to solve the problem. Now, the only person that actually advocated for themselves was Lilonia. That assembly man, Meshach, he got on there and he said, look, thank you. I appreciate the doctor. She always, cares about us, but we really need a borehole. We really need a borehole. And I think a borehole, I have to look, but the last time I looked, it was maybe close to 2,000 US with the reverse osmosis. And so that's a possibility of a future project. For now, I'm actually okay with possibly This was the suggestion of one of the donators. She said, "Hey, why don't we every month just set aside a certain amount of money that goes to getting the tank, to getting water delivered?" Okay, here's the sad part about it. The In my community, because it was more expensive to get the water in Lilonia uh, than it was here. It was 450 Ghana, 450 Ghana for Tamale, which works out to be $75 US. Okay, in Pone, it was 300 Ghana. He raised it because he had to come and sit. He felt like he was going to take him a long time and he was going to lose money. So he went to 400 Ghana. So each one of them was about 75, $80. Okay. And then the people managing, particularly in Tamale, I said, let me bless you with something because it's an all dayer. You got to get up early. You got to manage it, or else it's not fair. And you don't want people mistreated. You don't want them fighting or pushing or shoving or but they everything unfolded fine. I didn't do nothing amazing. I looked at the amount of money. I said, Isaac, this is $75. Look at the number of people that showed up. Why can't they all with a damn pickle jar, a coffee can? Do you understand? A piggy bank. Put the money in there. I give 10 Ghanas, you give five. Why can't you all have a fund where we order a truck once a month? They can bring the money to me. They know I'm not gonna steal the money. I'm giving you water. Why would I steal? And he said they not gonna do it. I said, why? He said, because if one person shows up that hasn't put any money in it, they're gonna raise hell. No, 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 no. You didn't give. You can't have water. You do. It become a big fight. I said, but I don't understand. If I can give freely and generously, why can't they give freely and generously? And so that's part of what I learned. Still waters run deep. They don't know how to completely fellowship with one another and support one another. Even in a crisis, it's still this scavenger. Me. When the whole thing was over, all three communities received water, and of course, lovely compliments and blessings came out of it, okay? But I wanted to hear somebody say, we gonna do this next month. We gonna start putting our money together. We gonna work on this. I didn't hear it. And let me tell you something, I've made peace with it. At this juncture, I'm not going to hear it. But Lord knows I wish I would hear that because this is solvable. I don't understand this concept of waiting on what? When you ain't waiting on the Lord, you're waiting on the government. Things that you can do yourself. These are all solvable things because there is water in the country. And you can get a tank and you can have somebody bring it to you. But it takes more moral fiber to be able to share and to save and to fellowship fairly with one another. One thing I enjoyed with Lilonia that the water went into their community reservoir, and all these areas have a community reservoir. I was shocked. The one over here is dirty. They don't put everything up in there. Jimmy Hoffa might be up in there. They put everything. He was scared that bags that they boo-boo would be in it. They have no respect for their reservoir. So we couldn't put the water in the community reservoir, which is what we wanted to do. Then they could have freely come and fetched it at their leisure. Okay, couldn't do it. The area in Tamale, the area that I think Adam selected, they didn't have a community reservoir, and in Lilonia, they had one. So that water went in there and that distribution of water went smooth because there was a community reservoir. They showed great respect for it and used it seamlessly. Everybody did not mind standing around and waiting to get this fresh water. It's something to consider. So I asked Isaac, I said, can we hire someone to clean out the reservoir? I don't know, blah, blah, blah. They never know because they're not going to pay for it. And I can't even get motivated or interested in having it cleaned if you can't tell me if there's a way to get it clean. This is not my country. I'm here living. I'm here learning. I'm here adjusting, okay? So it's just stuff that I don't know. So if somebody out there that watches my show that is an African that lives in Ghana, if you know where we can get the reservoir, who you go to get the community reservoir clean, please leave me a message. It seems to me that that would be the easiest because the water could be quietly put in there and there's no favorites being shown. You understand? Now, that's the good news. Okay. Uh, who is it? I had a nice little YouTube family I want to shout out to, and I normally don't mention anybody, but I wanted to this time just because I just appreciated my little YouTube family. Um, Somebody, CK Colson. I know candidly, Crystal asked me about the donation, but a PayPal payment came to me from CK Coulson. So if that's you, Crystal, if it ain't you, thank you for even asking. But if it is you, and whoever this person is, thank you so much. Your contribution helped out a lot. No contribution went to waste, I can promise you. Somebody named Aretha sent me a financial gift. I don't know who this individual is, and they only had Aretha, and they didn't have a picture thumbnail. The ages came in. Um, my beautiful, 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 lovely, lovely, lovely sister in Japan, teaching in Japan, Aline Wall. She sent me a nice generation contribution that helped tremendously. Um, and then there's a woman. It came in as Bellows Jana, and I'm assuming that Jana is the first name in Bellows. But that gift came in, I want to say either this morning or yesterday. And she sent scripture. She has a scripture attached to it. She said for Matthew 10:42. So she put me right back in that Bible. And I went and looked at the NIV version of it. And it says, and if anyone gives even a cup of water to one of these little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly not lose their reward. So I really want to thank you. That scripture is beautiful. I've written it down, meditated on it. Oh, look at this getting on my eye. Meditated on it quite a bit. It really touched me to receive that scripture. Listen, people, this issue, still waters run deep. Still waters run deep. There's so much more to this water issue in this country that I didn't expect to get involved in. I didn't expect to care about. I didn't, and that's how the Lord uses me. I will end up with some project that I never planned on, and He will stir my heart, and then I stir the heart of others, and we get some stuff done. We get some stuff done. So I want to just for a minute try to see if I can get even a small team of people interested in saving, because at the end of the day, as much as we are our brother's keepers, God helps those who help themselves. You have to be willing to chip in on your own issue. Otherwise, you get beggars. And this country is full of them. People who will openly beg from you. Beg, 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 beg. Come with all kind of problems, okay? We're better than that. We're better than that. What good is your God if you have a God that has you running around your country with all this amazing resource and culture and history, and the best you can do is beg? So, no, we don't want to do that. You want to be empowered where you can see about yourself and your brethren. But you have to see them as brethren. You have to care about them. You have to care about more than just yourself. This issue of water runs so deep. The next day, we realized our tank was low. So Isaac called the man. Okay, he came and he brought us water. Do you know these people started coming? They saw the truck pass, and people started coming to get some water. And so they filled up our tank, and we had a little bit extra. So he had them go over to the park, and he gave them what was the remainder, because this tank it doesn't hold everything that comes off the truck. So they called a small blessing. I said, listen, I don't speak their language, but you better speak in every language you got and let them know that we not serving them water from our home. That we too have to eat and cook and wash up, all of this good stuff. Tell them now. Don't go over there with that, smiling and being polite. This ain't a clobber time. Tell them. Don't come back here every time you see a truck. Don't run alongside that water truck, because we too are living here and we're working to pay for this water. Now you got a gift. Thank the Lord for a gift. and move on. Okay, but yeah, they came with their equipment ready to collect water. Listen, come with a pickle jar and put some money in it. Come with some CDs so we can put this money together and get some water for everybody, and we all can be happy. How about them apples, huh? Anyway, we talking to listening to Dr. Wanda. Still waters run deep, baby. In Ghana, they run deep. And I'm signing off.